studio time check says it's 37 minutes past 6 a.m. today, the 12th day in February of 2026. Good morning to you, dear listener. Thank you for tuning to Wells Radio 89.3 FM, your preferred wholesome radio. The program is Perspectives Unlimited. I do apologize for being tardy. Thank you so much for being patient and for staying tuned. On this show, we take a look at headlines and stories making the rounds across the different dailies in Nigeria. We'll take a look at these headlines. We'll go beyond the news. We want to help you make sense of these stories. That's what we're doing on the show today. And you, our dear listener, also you have the chance to be a part of the conversation by calling the show. All you have to do is to call our studio lines. When the studio lines are open at 7, we'll reel out the lines for you. And before then, you can even drop your comments on our Facebook fan page at Wells Radio 893 FM fan page. I'll take that again, at Wells Radio 893 FM fan page. Make sure you're following us once you get to that Facebook live session. Make sure you're following us and make sure you also share with your friends because, good things deserve to be shared. My name is Bolanle Oduekun-Ayoola. Let's get started. We'll start with the front pages of the dailies. This headline on the Punch newspaper says religious freedom violations. APC and NPP back Kwankwaso as US sanctions tension rises. The writer says US Congress gets bill proposing visa ban, asset seizure for ex-Kano governor and others. That story is on page 2 of the Punch newspaper this morning. More headlines. Kwara massacre. Survivors traumatized after deadly attack. Soldiers occupy deserted community. You found that story on page 3. More headlines. Senators clash as Umahi defends ministry spending. You found that on page 29. Coup plotters will face justice, says Air Chief. That story is on page 14. Blackouts. 300 billion naira power lifeline for hospitals. Varsities hit snag. That's on page 19 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Daniel Amosun absent as Abiodun endorses Tinubu for 2027. You find that on page 29. More headlines. Tinubu names new NACON chair as Hajj disruption fears mount. That's on page 12. Cybercrime court jails 2 Chinese directors 92 years. That's on pages 4 and 5. El Rufai anticipates arrest as police detain allies. That's on page 29. And finally, 12 Nigerians nabbed in Ghana prostitution crackdown. You find that on pages 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper this morning. Let's take a look at the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. The headlines are similar. We'll take the different ones. U.S. reps propose visa ban on Kwankwaso, Miyetti Allah, and others. That's on page 5. Kidnappers abduct police officer and 4 others in Edo. You find that on page 6. Makoko demolitions, fate of 1,000 school children hangs in the balance. That story is on page 21 of the Vanguard newspaper. Capital importation hits $21 billion in 10 months, says Minister. That's on page 15. Dangote refinery hits 650,000 barrels per day capacity. That's on page 19. More headlines. Umahi vows to resign if Abuja-Kaduna Kano Road project fails quality test. That's on page 6. More headlines. Insecurity, poverty worsening in North. ACF raises alarm. That's on page 15. Federal government orders NAFDAC to halt sachet alcohol ban enforcement. You find that on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. Go Nigeria urges deeper democratic reform beyond elections. That's on page 15. Senate demands full implementation of defense budget, warns against delay. That's on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. And on the Nigerian Tribune newspaper front page, the lead headline says Electoral Acts, more groups kick over Senate's stance. The writer says Bugaje, Utomi, Waba, Yerima, others flay decision. Dixon, the Kuka Center, Yaga Africa, tell NAS Conference Committee to adopt reps version. Fixed Politics Africa wants Senate to rescind unpopular clause. That story is on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. This headline says Olubadan hands over suspected land grabber to security operative. That's on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning. More headlines. Drama as Nwebo in hangar, trade word at committee sitting, Works Minister laments poor funding. That's on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper. More headlines. CBN approves BDC's return to Forex market, allows purchase of up to $150,000 weekly. That's on page 7 this morning. And in health, when recurrent fever isn't malaria, think lupus. That's from Dr. Dedeke. He's a rheumatologist, and that story is on page 13 of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning. At this point, I'll bring in our analyst on the show who'll be helping us, further simplify these issues, talk about them, and basically helping us understand these headlines. We have Mr. Sonny. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning to you, madam.
How do you do, sir?
I'm doing well. How about you?
We thank God. All right. The Nigerian Tribune newspaper says when fevers are recurrent and it's not malaria, think of lupus. In a country where it's insanely expensive to access healthcare for the average person. I don't think there's any average person in Nigeria anymore. You're either rich or you're poor. The only difference is that you could be poor or you could be poor. Now, I say this because if an average visit to an average hospital, in a not very expensive hospital, a private hospital, I'll give this metrics based on my last visit to the hospital to treat malaria. Consultation, of course, no money for card purchase. Consultation, testing, and medication costs roughly about 30,000 naira. Now, not many people can afford that. And we have other life-threatening diseases. So not many people can afford to go to the hospital. They rather just take agboba, malaria herbs to cure malaria when they're not even sure if it's malaria or not. You pay 2,000 naira if you go to a pharmacy to test for malaria. Some people need that 2,000 naira to eat.
For survival.
Where do we go from here? The healthcare system in Nigeria.
Nigeria's health care is in a very, very dire situation. Lupus is not a very, very, very common condition. It is an autoimmune condition that, Loma Fisher and Rawadiwa, it's now your body fighting you. I mean, it's something nobody would want to experience. As regards the state of healthcare in this country, it is unfortunate that we are where we are. I was listening to the Minister of Health on Monday, and he said that 36 million naira was what he got, in fact, all he got last year for capital project. I mean, I can, still this very present moment, I still cannot wrap my head around it. The capital project for the ministry ran into hundreds of billions, but he only got 36 million naira. And we're talking about all teaching hospitals in the country. We're talking about all medical centers. I mean, how do you do that? 36 million naira for what? We shouldn't be surprised that our country is in the position it is, because if you do not fund a particular cause, that cause is going to lag. And that's exactly what is happening right now. I see no reason, I'm a very practical person here. I see no reason why Nigeria should not be able to do free healthcare and free education. I know what I am talking about.
Some say we already do free education
Free
in
what?
our public schools.
We do free illiteracy training in our public schools. Go to those places. In all seriousness, I cannot rear my chicken in those places. As you talk of, putting something in the heads and minds of these youngsters. How do you say you want to train people for tomorrow under a cashew tree? It's not making sense.
But some of the public schools, some of the government-owned schools, they have good classrooms and teachers.
Okay, let me tell you about a particular school in Abuja, and I'm talking about today, not years ago. There is nobody in that school anymore. Not because they don't want to come, but because there is not one teacher there. 2 years ago in Oyo State, Olio local government, to be precise, the headmaster is the head teacher, is the mathematics teacher. Was the mathematics teacher, English teacher, just one person for a whole school, primary 1 to 6. How do you rationalize that? The truth of the matter is that our government is prioritizing what shouldn't be. I believe that, okay, roads are, fantastic things to be done. But pardon me if you are not happy with what I want to say. I, as a leader, will prioritize education and welfare over and above road. I personally, they are alive, they use road. That's number one. Number two is that, it's not that easy to loot money in the aspect of education and healthcare because the budgets there are not that huge. But just one road, you may say, okay, we are fixing, if I'm not even starting afresh, we just want to rehabilitate this road with 700 billion. You can't do that in education and healthcare. That is why most of these guys favor, road infrastructure rather than human capital index. And in all seriousness, human capital index is what determines the well-being and the welfare of the people. If it is low, trust me, life is bad in that area.
Thank you, sir. We hope that our government spokesperson who are listening to this, health is wealth. In Oyo State, in March of last year, it was announced that a lot of money had been pumped into primary health care centers, which is a good one. Many of them got, new tools and infrastructure and all of that. However, we want to get to a point, a situation where mothers with little babies can go and get their children treated without paying a dime.
2 years ago, some of them were still even shutting at 6 o'clock in the evening. I'm talking about these primary health care centers in Oyo State. They were still closing their door. Health challenges won't tell you, oh, I'm coming tomorrow morning. I'm coming tomorrow afternoon.
There could be an emergency
at any point in time.
And the person may not have any money at hand.
If you are shut in your hospital at a particular point in time, you are not running a hospital.
Well, they'll say it's a primary health care center, not a full-fledged hospital.
It is still a medical facility. So you shouldn't be shutting your doors. If you are shutting your doors, it shows to you that you are not even prepared for what you want to do.
Thank you so much, sir. To the Oyo State government, we're grateful for where we are, but we know that in 2026, we should be better. People should be able to go to these PHCs and get good care. Let's move on to headlines making the rounds this morning across the different dailies in Nigeria. On the front page of the Punch newspaper, we had the headline that said, U.S. visa religious freedom violations, APC and NPP back Kokoso as U.S. sanctions tension rises. Now, the All Progressives Congress and the New Nigeria's People's Party have rejected the proposed visa bans and asset freezes recommended by United States lawmakers against ex-Kano State Governor Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso. The Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria, MACBAN, and Miyetti Allah Kautal Hore over alleged violations of religious freedom in Nigeria. The bill, titled the Nigeria Religious Freedom and Accountability Act of 2026, was introduced in the U.S. House of Representatives by Representative Chris Smith, alongside Representative Riley Moore, Brian Mast, and Bill Huizenga. The bill recommends visa bans and asset freezes under the Global Magnitsky Human Rights Accountability Act against individuals and entities accused of involvement in religious freedom abuses. Now, the APC has criticized the proposed sanctions, insisting that allegations alone could not justify curtailing Kwakwaso's freedom of movement without a fair hearing and due process. Mr. Sani, help us out. Why is Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso the name being mentioned alongside MACBAN and the Kautal Hore?
The root of the matter is that as a country, we do not transmit common sense in real time. And that is why it's easy for a lot of people to come here, bamboozle us and go. I have been saying, and I continue to say it, the United States of America is not friends with Nigeria. They are only all out to get what they want to get. If they understand that you are not well rooted in common sense, they destabilize you with all sorts of things. I can remember I told you in this particular studio that when Trump started all of that drama,
you talked about the lack of response.
The lack of
proper
meaningful response. Now they have what they want. They wanted a base here. Now they have it. I can tell you that free of charge. There is now a U.S. military base in
Yeah, we
Nigeria.
did hear that there are people touched down, although we didn't exactly hear it from the federal government.
The federal government will not come and tell you that there is a base here. But initially it was a small team of soldiers who were sent here. Now 200 more guys are on their way as we speak to Nigeria. Should they keep quiet, they will not be allowed to get whatever they want to get from us. So it's about attacking anybody and everybody so that we can continue to be in a state of disarray while they get whatever they want to get. That is exactly what they are doing. I am not spokesperson for Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, but if you are accusing somebody of something this nefarious, common sense, simple common sense should say that this is why we are saying this.
So they should have their evidence.
You are saying you want to blacklist him from coming to the United States. It's your country. Who cares about going to the United States of America, the mother capital of the world? I'm not interested in going there. Not at this point. What I am saying is that if you accuse this guy of saying he has done something bad, what exactly did he do bad? There is right to fair hearing anywhere in the planet, not to talk of the country that parades itself as the capital for democracy in the world. But you are not doing that. They said that, okay, they want to come and help our soldiers to pinpoint airstrikes. If I'm not mistaken, the last one they fired into Nigeria, just a tiny fraction of those bombs went to. In fact, I cannot even tell you that one hit any target in Nigeria. You said you were firing missiles to Sokoto State, but almost half of it landed in Kwara State. So are you not the type of person who wants to teach people how to pinpoint airstrikes? The truth of the matter is that they are just destroying the foundation of Nigeria so that they can continue to destabilize Nigeria and Africa. Let's make a particular reference now. Nigeria is in a very, very tight corner right now, and I'm talking about the financial stance of the country. Over the years, India has been our largest crude buyer. As we speak right now, Nigeria is struggling to sell a barrel of crude to India. The United States of America, in my opinion, kidnapped the president of Venezuela, took over the sale of Venezuelan oil. They are now shipping Venezuelan oil to the United States of America and Israel, U.S. ally. Guess what? All of U.S. oil is now going to India, meaning the U.S. is no longer using its own oil. They're using Venezuelan oil while selling its own oil to India, Nigeria's major partner. They are attacking Nigeria from a lot of fronts. But in this part of the country, once you attach anything to religion and ethnicity, people lose common sense. The average Muslim will say, once Saudi or anybody says we are interested in what is happening to the welfare of Muslims in Nigeria, bring it down back. Should the US or Israel say, we are protecting Christians? Israel destroyed a lot of churches in Palestine, killing a lot of churchgoers in Palestine. Nobody's talking about that. But it's that same Israel where it is a crime to tell somebody, give your life to Christ. You will end up in jail in Israel if you tell someone, give your life to Christ. Yet it is that Israel that is defending Christians in Nigeria. I don't know where our brain is. I don't get it. These guys are only destabilizing us. They are destabilizing our polity. Now we are each other's enemy in our own country simply because someone somewhere said, this is happening in your country. Now, financially, they want to break our spine because our oil is no longer being sold right now as I speak to you. The major buyer of our oil now receives directly from the United States. Like I said, I will not say a word about Kwankwaso's issue right now because they have not told us whatever he did. So as far as I'm concerned, Kwankwaso is still a very free man.
But are they well within their rights? It's their country to place a visa ban and a freeze of assets.
Freeze of assets is where the problem comes. I don't know if you're a US visa. It's written behind it that it's not automatic for you to come. Even with a visa, it is still not automatic for you to come to their country. Customs and Border Protection agent will have to assess you, okay, are you fit and proper to come into our country? It's their country. They can't. Nigerian visa is one of the hardest visas to get in the world. I don't know if you're aware of that. This is our Nigeria with the abuse. Getting the visa to Nigeria it is nasty. I know what I had some partners I wanted to bring in sometime. It wasn't funny to get a Nigerian visa for them. Get Nigerian visas for them. Every country has their own peculiarities. It's their problem. I'm not going to say, you must admit people into your country. But now saying you want to freeze someone's assets over offenses you will not even say, something is wrong with your head.
All right. For our listeners who, didn't get it when Mr. Sani mentioned that some U.S. soldiers, are coming to Nigeria, the headline on the Nigerian Tribune newspaper says, Trump set to send 200 troops to Nigeria. Now, the Pentagon is set to deploy about 200 additional U.S. troops to Nigeria in the coming weeks to train the country's military in its fight against Islamist militants. A U.S. official confirmed this on Tuesday, an unnamed official. Now, the deployment comes weeks after President Donald Trump criticized Nigeria over what he described as its failure to protect Christians from terrorist attacks. The official spoke on the condition of anonymity. He said the incoming troops will reinforce a small contingent of American forces already operating in Nigeria. They say this existing team has been assisting Nigerian forces in identifying potential terrorist targets using both U.S. and Nigerian intelligence. And the additional personnel will be stationed at various locations across Nigeria. I honestly hope that they're stationed in the north central.
It's actually in the northeast.
Yeah, at least where the problem areas, and if at all they're going to work with Nigerians. All right, let's move on to other stories quickly. I want us to take this one before we go on a break. When we come back from the break, we'll talk about the drama that happened at the Senate committee hearing yesterday. But the Aso Villa, the presidential villa, is set to sever ties with the national grid by March. They're working on their solar power initiative, and it has reached the final stage for a country where members of the public are having to choose between darkness and paying exorbitant fees under the guise of Band A for power. The Aso Villa has decided to have this audacity to say, well, we're no longer going to be with you on the grid. We need to enjoy steady power supply. What does this signal about the current governing administration?
The truth of the matter is that the administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu has told Nigerians that it is your problem, it's not my problem. I'm only here to enjoy and flex. Everybody is complaining about power situation. Oluyole is in band. Hey, there is no light in Oluyole right now. Despite paying him that humongous amount of money for power, there is still no power. It's the same thing all over Nigeria, be you in band A or band B, band Q, band Z. The president should be able to feel what the people are going through. If you are not going through what the people are going through, you cannot come up with solutions, sensible solutions that will assuage their problems. Everybody is complaining about power. Common sense should tell you as a president that you need to feel what these people, even if you are in band A or band whatever, you need, even if it's just your personal residence. I believe that the office of the president should be powered 24/7 because just info can come at any time, intel can come at any time. But your personal residence where you keep your head day in, day out, every night, you should be able to understand what the people are going through. And by that, you should make sure that that place is still connected to the national grid. That is going to give you an idea of how to address your minister of power.
Apologies, let me cut in here. We'll have to take a short break. When we come back from this break, we'll have more conversations on Perspectives Unlimited. Please don't go anywhere. Stay with us.
Christ Ambassadors International College is a private, co-educational Christian day and boarding school located at Alafin Avenue, Oluyole Estate, Ibadan. We offer a blend of Nigerian and British curricula designed to nurture global leaders with godly values. With world-class facilities, exciting co-curricular programs, exceptional pastoral care, and outstanding academic results, we ensure your child's dream becomes a reality. Our entrance examination registration for 2026-2027 academic session will hold on Saturday, 14th February 2026 at 8 a.m. For inquiries, please call 0704-530-8414 or 0814-177-2806 or visit www.christambassadorscollege.com. Christ Ambassadors International College, nurturing global and godly scholars.
How long will it take you to confirm payment? I have been waiting for the past 1 hour.
I'm so sorry. Our network is slow. I will just run out of data.
Same excuse yesterday. It is unacceptable, please. You better switch to One Data Internet Service.
One Data?
Yes, One Data. One Data is an internet service provider with the best alternative and solution for unlimited speed. One Data provides fast and reliable internet service to organizations, homes, and places of interest in Nigeria. With One Data, you get to enjoy the premium internet service with dedicated unlimited internet speed at all times, 24/7 fantastic customer service and support, and you enjoy a 1-month free subscription when you make payment. Now is the time to say goodbye to downtimes. Sign up with One Data today on 0811 223 2671 or visit www.onedata.ng for more inquiries. One Data, unlimited speed.
Are you hungry for something delicious? Food that feels like home but tastes like pure luxury? Then welcome to Honeydew Restaurant, where every meal is made to make you smile. From our smoky jollof to rich ofada sauce to a variety of delicious soups like egusi, eforiro, and more, paired with your favorite proteins and hot, freshly made swallows, all made for you to enjoy. We also handle bulk orders in liters, fresh and ready whenever you need it. We deliver it to your doorstep. At Honeydew, it's not just the food, it's the feel. With our beautiful ambience, perfect for your romantic dates, family outings, or your quiet, relaxing evening escape. Join us every last Friday of the month at 7 p.m. for karaoke night with Jayola and enjoy music, games, food, drinks, and free mocktails and cocktails as you sing your hearts out. Visit us at Plot 42, Block 8, Alaafi Avenue, beside Wells Radio, Oluyole Estate, Ibadan. For your doorstep delivery or inquiries, call or WhatsApp 0814-691-6635, 0814-691-6635. Honeydew Restaurant, where every meal is made to make you smile.
Boost your business with Wells Radio 89.3 FM. In a competitive world of business, strategic brand and product positioning is key to growth. Don't remain unseen in the shadows. Shine a spotlight on your brand with Wells Radio 89.3 FM today. Why Wells Radio? We are your state's #1 family radio station. We connect with the heart of families in your state. As the smallest unit of the society, families trust Wells Radio for quality content and information. Visit us today along Alaafi Avenue, Oluyole Estate, Ibadan. Our white and blue building just before Sharp Corner ensures your business won't go unnoticed. Advertise with us today. Call our marketing office on 0903-936-8185. Call Toby on 0803-509-3394. Ayo on 0706 840-7359. Take the leap today. Let Wells Radio 89.3 FM be the megaphone for your business success. You won't regret it.
Yo, what's up?
Baby, let's go!
Hey there! Want to stay connected to your favorite radio station? Follow us on social media for the latest updates, entertaining wholesome content, and behind-the-scene peaks. We're on Instagram at Wells Radio 893, Facebook Wells Radio 893 FM fan page, X Wells Radio 893. Follow our WhatsApp channel Wells Radio 89.3 FM. Get a scoop on upcoming shows, giveaways, and events. Also get to interact with your favorite presenters and share your thoughts on our posts and stories. Join the conversation and stay tuned into Wells Radio 89.3 FM, your preferred wholesome radio.
All right, you're welcome back. It's Perspectives Unlimited on Wells Radio 89.3 FM, your preferred wholesome radio, your number one family radio in the whole of Oyo State. Thank you so much for staying tuned. It's time for us to continue the show, but also the phone lines are open and you can be a part of the conversation. 0916 893 1000, 0915 333 4893, and 0911 333 893. I'll take the numbers again: 0916 893 1000, 0915 333 4893, and 0911 3333 893. These are the numbers to call to be a part of the conversation this morning. Before we went on the break, we're talking about the Aso Villa finally saying bye-bye to the national grid in March of 2026. At a time when Nigerians are complaining, number one, about the soaring cost of electricity. Number two, about the fact that some of those who are paying more for electricity are actually not seeing the results because they were promised 22 to 18 hours of power, and some are not getting that much. And number three, at a time where I believe it's the Senate, have mentioned that electricity subsidies should be removed all round. And what this means for the average person is that those of you who are happy because you're in band B, band C, band D, band E, and whatever other bands, you may likely find yourself now paying the same price.
225.
Yes, across board.
The truth of the matter is that the president has told us in clear terms that he is not interested in sharing our problems with us. Because as the president of the country, you need to be in touch, not through what people come to tell you, but directly with what the people are passing through. Now we are going through since I was born, I cannot remember a time where the power situation was something similar to this. It is now totally bad. It was not even remotely close to this. And instead of having the president who's going to lead at the forefront, is now moving out of the problem and creating a cocoon for himself. After spending 17 billion naira of our money, I have issues with everything on the ground here. They said the villa is going to be exiting the national grid. Bad news. Number two, at what cost? 17 billion naira. That is criminal on its own. What I'm saying here in essence is that we do not have a responsible president. That's just the truth of the matter. We have a president who wants to be president for the sake of being president, not because he wants to fix national problems.
So you're saying that a leader, or what would classify as a good leader in Nigeria, is someone who's also able to feel the pains that the people are also feeling?
Yes. If you cannot do that, you are not fit nor proper to be a leader. Because as a leader, your job is to lead people out of problems. How do you now lead them out of problems you don't even want to share in? It's not possible. You have, found a way to dodge the bullet. I don't want to be part of this. It is your problem. Go and solve it by yourself. Go and do. Can't you learn from me? I have spent 17 billion naira of your own money. Find money to go and do solar. That is what the president is telling us.
Let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
This is Nadirunke from Muslim.
Good morning, Nadirunke. How are you doing?
Thank you.
All right, please go ahead.
Concerning the electricity subsidy, just take a look at it. Which light are we enjoying that we want to remove a subsidy for electricity? In my area, we barely had light, and yet they keep coming at the end of the month to collect money for electricity, which is now supposed to be. So since this intention of this administration is when they have distributed the band A, band B, band C, everything has just scattered. So we are not enjoying it like that. So there should be an improvement, even if they want to remove subsidy from electricity. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Aderunke, for your contribution this morning. To the Honorable Minister of Power, I believe that we can speak to him better because it's from Oyo State. Because it's from Oyo State. This is the pulse of the people.
I should tell you something, madam. It's not just the Senate that is saying that, we should stop subsidy all in all. This is what Mr. Adelabu has been saying over the years.
Yeah, that was the initial talk before we then went back to, okay, let's ban and then ban A.
After banding, I should say that the banding arrangement didn't just start now. It had been on the ground. But the difference now is that band A guys are paying through their nose for themselves. The government was still subsidizing for band A, B, C, and D all along. But now when this administration came on board, it said, okay, everybody's now going to be... Let me now say something here, madam. If I'm not mistaken, the last time I did my research, and I was informed that around 50% of Nigeria is now in band A. That is what I heard. Guess what? Money for power subsidy keeps increasing year by year.
And we keep having issues with, for example, where the Ministry of Power has said, give out free meters.
Yeah, I am coming there actually. What I am saying is this. When they started with band A folks were only doing 15%. So the government was subsidizing for 85% of the people. Now band A is 50%. What government is spending in the name of subsidy should reduce by 35%.
Isn't that the fault of the economy?
It's not the fault of the economy. What I'm saying here is that I can see that they are messing with our figures here. The money they are spending on subsidy should be going down simply because more people are now paying for themselves. But guess what, madam? It's still further going up. It means that there is no sensible arithmetics behind what is happening. These guys are just writing figures. I mean, the whole process is just dirty.
All right. Let's move on to more stories. I did see this one. I wanted to talk about it. The headline says El-Rufai anticipates arrest as police detain allies. Now it says the former Kaduna State Governor Malam Nasir El-Rufai has alleged that he could be arrested by the federal government, claiming that recent developments indicates that he may be the next target. Now El-Rufai made the allegation during an interview with BBC Hausa, expressing concerns over what he described as growing political intimidation against the opposition figures. You recall that he defected from the APC to the ADC, and he said some of his close associates had already been detained, and it's just a matter of time before he also gets arrested. This is a very bold allegation on the APC-led government.
I mean, I don't see it as an allegation. I see it as a statement of fact. If you are a member of the PDP, I mean, I'm not sure the ruling party cares about you because they know too well that you are a toothless dog. They have rendered the party prostrate. But for the ADC, once you join the ADC, it's like you are in trouble automatically. Let's discuss, for the sake of this conversation, Abubakar Malami. I believe that Malami has questions to answer. That's my personal belief. But right now, is he answering questions? Nope. He is only being persecuted simply because he will be contesting the governorship seat of Kebbi State. This guy was a free guy for 2 years after leaving office as the most infamous attorney general of this country. They never cared about him until he said, okay, I am now joining the ADC to contest the gubernatorial seat of Kebbi State. And guess what? Almost the following day, this guy was picked up. He was picked up by the EFCC initially. They said they raided his home in Kebbi State and they found a pump action. And for that reason, the SSS is taking him to court for terrorism. I mean, I read the charge sheet for Malami. You know, they labeled all sorts of nonsense there, terrorism, terror financing. When I saw that, I was like, okay, this is fine. Let us see the things you guys are taking this guy to court over. and I saw that they saw a pump action and some expended cartridges, and that is terror financing in your definition. Are you that? I mean, the truth of the matter is that one is hungry in this country. I was expecting a situation where they would come up with bank accounts. It was, funding these bad boys through this account. Oh, this is the domiciliary account. This is the Naira account. I was expecting to see a cash flow, but nothing of such. The other thing, they said, okay, there was a particular list that was given to him in 2022 November, where he should have tried some people for terrorism, but he didn't take them to court. And now you are taking him to court simply because, how do you win such a case? It's a case of,
So you believe that there's a witch hunt against APC members?
Madam. If he didn't take them to court, then you can't take him to court. All he will tell you is that, in his opinion as a prosecutor, you can't get conviction with this. That's number one. Number two, you took him to court all alone. Why not take him to court with the people you said he didn't prosecute then? So if he could have been sponsoring terrorism by not prosecuting some people, you are equally sponsoring terrorism by not prosecuting those people. What I am telling you in essence is that the ruling party is stifling the ADC.
So you're saying that there is indeed a witch hunt against the ADC members?
It is clear. Look at what they are doing with Yaya Bello. EFCC witnesses are now coming to court to tell the judge that, Yaya Bello didn't do anything actually. Yeah. They said he used local government money in Kogi State to buy houses in Abuja. EFCC witness came to court yesterday and they told the court that, no, that's not what happened. That, this guy used that local government to buy medication for public health centers and all that. And, EFCC now defending Yaya Bello simply because the president appointed him into a committee in the APC. I don't believe in the APC. I should say that very, very clearly. I don't believe in the EFCC led by Ola Olukoyede. As far as I'm concerned, Ola Olukoyede should be in the dock by him. All himself. They did what's it called? An auction process not too long. I think that was last year, where people won cars and stuff like that. But after the bidding process had ended, the following morning, people saw that different names were attached to the cars that they won. And they said, EFCC, you're not behaving like Yahoo boys. And the EFCC said, no, you don't know what you're talking about. These are the guys who won. Until people now began to bring screenshots. And the EFCC said, okay, we will look into that. It's, if I'm not mistaken, around a year now. The last thing we heard was, we will look into it. Please, this should get lost.
All right, let's move on quickly. Yesterday, there was drama as there was a heated exchange between the Deputy Whip of the Senate, Senator Peter Onweboyin, and the Deputy Minority Whip, Senator Rufai Hanga, and it disrupted a joint session of the Senate and House of Reps Committees on Works. The altercation apparently occurred during the 2026 budget defense by the Minister of Works, Dave Umahi, and apparently tensions flared shortly after Senator Adams Oshiomhole concluded his presentation, and it was Senator Onweboyin's turn to speak. Now, the Vice Chairman of the committee, Senator Hanga, presided in the absence of the substantive chairman, Senator Mpigi Barinada, and so he interrupted Onweboyin. He told him to be brief, that he appeared to be eulogizing the minister rather than addressing the subject matter. Because apparently Onweboyin is from the same state as Dave Umahi. Yes. Now, of course, he was angry. He said you gave the APC minister 15 minutes, of solid talk time, and so you cannot tell me, not to talk. There was also that issue with Senator Natasha. Let's take this call. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Good
morning.
Good morning, West Radio.
Good morning, sir.
All right, ma. Good morning. God bless you, ma. My name is Salami. I'm calling from Awoton. Good
You're
morning,
welcome, Mr. Salami.
Good morning, sir.
All right, thank you. All right, sir. God bless you, sir. You see, for me, this morning, let me begin with the Kwankwaso and the Meete-Allah. For me, I want to believe that probably, U.S. must be working with certain intels before coming up with such ban. And I want to believe there are more names on that bandit. So I'll just adopt a kind of a wait and see. Do I know in a matter of weeks from now, more facts will emerge as to the complicity or otherwise of those people. But more importantly for me, Mr. Sonny, I appreciate your patriotism about Nigeria. But then at times, there is this thing in Yoruba that I said, meaning that it's the inadequacy of the living. Sorry if I'm not so correct. Inadequacy of the living that makes us to kind of appreciate or send for the dead. That is just it. We all know that America is now our friend, in quotes, honestly speaking, and to America and even to most of the West, there's no free lunching. They must be up to something. They must be, at least something must be at stake, in our land here. But then at times, what do we do when we are left with no option? It's the failure of the government. If our government has been able to tackle this insecurity headlong all this while, definitely I believe that America wouldn't have had any role to play in this case. But then it's like the government is been so lethargic about it, and that's just it. Even can you imagine? Even our first lady appreciating or saying that the American bomb in Sokoto was a blessing. I think you understand. So even from government quarters, America has been appreciated. I think you understand. And also, can you imagine even merely recognizing our first lady in U.S. prayer, even by Donald Trump? It was widely celebrated, among APC worldwide. So it's like that is why it is not difficult for you and I to condemn American presence in Nigeria. People don't we know, because what I'm beginning to see from what America is going to do now is to gradually establish a base in Nigeria, kind of to frustrate whatever alliance Nigeria may be having with China and what have you. So, but in all of this, I can only pray that our president, our leaders in Nigeria will do the needful and save us, safeguard the lives of Nigerians, rather than kind of hoping on America to save us. May God bless Nigeria.
Thank you so much for your contribution, sir. The phone lines are still open, 0916-893-1000, 0915-333-4893, and 0911-3333-893. About obviously the altercation that happened yesterday, I'd also like to get your stance on the Senate's current resolve on the e-transmission of the results of the election.
Thank you very much. Every gang has its enforcer. Not just gangs. Some organizations also have their own personal enforcers. Okay.
Let's take the score. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, the beautiful radio woman.
Good morning to you, Mr. Mario.
You're welcome.
You're welcome, sir.
Now, on the operation that happened between those two senators yesterday, forget about it. They will iron it out between themselves. And at the end of the day, don't be surprised that in the coming week, you see them sitting beside themselves, tapping themselves in the back, and smiling at themselves. What they are doing is basically drama. Forget about it. Not be today, my sister. And secondly, on the issue of Kwankwaso, I'm telling you, there is nothing. Take my word again. There is virtually nothing that the federal government is going to do to the name of Kwankwaso and each other that is being mentioned to them as terrorist financial. Nothing the government will do. Don't be surprised if Kwankwaso should collapse the structure for APC in the coming election. I'm telling you, Kwankwaso will be as saint as anything. This is politics. When they mention the name of the likes of El-Rufai and the likes of some other dignitaries in Nigeria, what was done to them even up to now as you speak? Forget all those things. Don't be surprised. This is politics and the political era. And Yabelo that they are castigating, nothing is going to happen to Yabelo. Recall that in the past few weeks, Yabelo was appointed as one of those that will be the DG that will campaign for Tinubu come 2027. This is Nigeria. Anything goes. Thank you and God bless Nigeria.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mario, for your contribution.
As far as I'm concerned, Peter Ihumeboyi is the enforcer for the Nigerian Senate. When there was an issue between Babiu and Senator Natasha, it was Ihumeboyi that was at the forefront of everything. At some point, even acting, he wanted to beat the lady up, calling her all sorts of names. You are this, you are that. I know you can remember the names he called to the girl. Yesterday, the Minister of Works was in the building to defend his budget for this year. And guess what? For multiple minutes, he was just praising and praising and praising
the minister,
Dave Umahi. A lot of people don't know the relationship, but if not for Dave Umahi, who single-handedly tapped this, as far as I'm concerned, SY jobless guy to come and become Senator of the Federal Republic, it would still have been somewhere in maybe a free or Abakaliki doing nonsense all around or bumbling around. But, someone of no moral standing, no financial standing, no intellectual standing was appointed. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, appointed. He was, chosen by Dave Umahi to come and become a senator. And when he saw his benefactor, he literally stooped low to his feet and began to use his tongue to lick the dust on the shoes of Umahi. And the chair of the Senate committee said, the deputy chair, because the vice chair, because the chair wasn't around. I said, Chief, we don't have time for this. Go straight to your point. If you don't have things to say, please just round off. Let other people speak their mind. And at that particular point in time, all hell was let loose by Umahi, shouting, screaming, saying all of that. He even said he's a high-ranking member of the Senate. That's something I cannot understand.
Let's move past that and quickly take your views. We don't have time at all.
Okay,
and quickly take your views on the Senate's position on the e-transmission.
Congratulations to Nigerians.
Is it fully congratulations when we still don't have real time?
Half congratulations. I mean, we should acknowledge what we have done so far. I should say that this is the first time in the history of this country that a sitting Senate will reverse itself. And that's because of the pressure. Let's keep the pressure going so that at the end of the day, they will adopt real-time transmission. But so far, congratulations.
Thank you so much. On our Facebook, Boluatife Ademijuwon says, good morning. E-transmission is key for credible elections, and it's a good thing the Senate has approved it, but I hope there won't be a abracadabra. Incumbency power shouldn't override people's votes. Thank you so much. Yanoluwa Luakpelumi says, good morning, man. Sir, Adedamola Okunlola says, beautiful morning to you in the studio. It's beautiful to know that the Senate has finally approved e-transmission. This goes to show that Nigerians are powerful. Sulaiman Sharif says most of the senators, especially bad losers among them, know that if they allow e-transmission of election results, 90% of them would not be re-elected. Thank you so much, Mr. Sani, for giving us your time this morning.
It is always an honor to be here.
A big thank you to everyone who called. This is where we wrap it up. Thank you so much for joining Perspectives Unlimited, but don't tune away. We still have many, many more programs for your listening pleasure. My name is Bolanle Oduekun-Ayoola, and I say to you, good morning, God bless you, and thank you for tuning in.